The dreaded tantrum, something that every parent has feared at some time or another. Picture this. You finally reach the checkout at a busy supermarket after a long wait. Right there next to the counter, in full view of your child, are sweets, glistening in their colourful, shiny wrappers. Your child wants one. No, you say. The child persists, asking again and again, each time becoming more emotional. Everyone is watching, judging. You need to be the one in control. Embrace the tantrum. What do I mean? Take the power out of the behaviour. This is how. First of all, let's not view the tantrum as a negative behaviour. Through the tantrum, your child is demonstrating that they are alive and well, and that they have the conviction to go after what they want. They're proactive, resourceful. They're not just going to sit back and allow life to pass them by. In other words, they're a go-getter. They will make things happen. We don't want to diminish that spirit. What we do want to do is to install self-control and restraint in our child. Keys for success. Step 1, assess the need. Is the tantrum warranted for the circumstances? Is the child's emotional state really about the chocolate, or is there something more beneath? Is the child out of balance? In other words, are their physical needs being met? Are they hungry, hot, cold, uncomfortable, tired, unwell, sick? How are their emotional needs? Is there something happening externally which may be overwhelming for them, such as lots of activity or excitement or perhaps drama? Are they experiencing anxiety? Is there an angry, upset parent? A mum and dad arguing, fighting? Has the child lost someone recently? Moved home? Has there been a break in their normal routine? Is there trauma? Do they feel safe? Or do they simply need a hug and reassurance? In these circumstances, a tantrum could be justified, especially for a child who is only just starting to learn to understand and regulate their emotional state and learning how to express themselves through language. Your child's physical and emotional needs have to be met. If they're the reason for a tantrum, then you can understand that that's completely justified. So step 1, assess the need. Is it justified? Step 2, let's move on to step 2 now. Manage self. Slow it down. Breathe in. Slowly. And as you breathe out slowly, soften your shoulders and the muscles in your face. So really make a point of really softening your body in that moment while you're standing there in that checkout with everybody looking at you. Be really conscious of your breath and the tension that you're holding. And like I said, it's about slowing down. You may be in a mad rush, and often as parents, we are. Be in control. Be the parent, the adult. Separate yourself from your child's behaviour. Not always easy to do. What I'm asking you basically is to imagine you are on the outside looking in, like as an observer. So detaching yourself. If you are calm, relaxed, unfazed, not only will you reassure your child that they are safe, but also reassure everyone in the vicinity that you've got it under control. This is about responding and not reacting. Responding is coming from a calm, controlled state. Reacting is done mostly without thought. It is coming from emotion and with no consideration for the consequences. Responding will get you the outcome you want. Reacting will only escalate the situation, stressing you and the child more, and everybody else. So that sort of emotional stress isn't good for your health and well-being. It will cause you harm. All right, so just then I explained the difference between responding and reacting. Responding coming from a more calm place, reacting off the cuff, just without even thinking, just in a flash. Typically, it happens in a flash. Very little thought goes into it. We want to respond. This is where you remind yourself that you are okay, that you've got this, you can do it. See the tantrum as an opportunity for your child to learn. This is where you get to demonstrate to them self-control and restraint. And you also get to maintain the boundaries that make them, your child, feel safe and secure. Very important for bringing up our kids, okay? For them to feel safe. By doing this, by being able to detach yourself, by being, I'm asking you, this is something to practice. In time, you'll get more used to it. It's about checking in with yourself, so stepping back in the situation, slowing everything down, breathing, be aware of what's happening for you. In doing so, you will actually put a stop to the behavior completely. They won't try it again. So, to recap, step 1, assess the need. Step 2, manage self. Very important. With all our children's behavior, actually, with everything in life, managing ourselves. And now, step 3, retain control. Step 1, assess the need. Is there a good reason for the tantrum? Is it justified, or is it just about the sweet or something that they want? Unjustified, really. Step 2, manage. Let's go back there. Kids are allowed to want. We're all allowed to want. But of course, they also have to learn about no. And when it comes to sweets, sugar, and so on, definitely no. Number 2, of course, manage self. All about us. What's going on for you in that moment. Keeping in control of yourself and your emotions. Being in control, practicing restraint. Number 3 is retaining control. This is not just about us retaining control of ourselves, but also externally with the situation. Depending on the age of the child, this could simply be a matter of interrupting their attention by distracting them with something else. Perhaps you have something in your bag that they want more than that chocolate bar. Or maybe there is something coming up that they are excited about. A dog outside can be a good distraction. You could praise the child about something that they've done recently, or something that they are doing at that particular time. Another way is you could ask the child to help you. Give them a task. Get them to take the items out of the shopping trolley and place it on the counter. You could give them a job like that. Or to bag things. If you've got a paper bag, they could bag some of the fruit or vegetables. Avoid waffling. I see parents make this mistake. Over-explaining or even going into a discussion to justify their decision. Keep it simple. No is no. There is nothing more to be said. No is powerful on its own, and it doesn't need explaining. There is room for discussion at a later date, such as when you're at home. As my children got older, with age comes different opportunities with our children. They can start a bit later, and I've always limited screen access with my kids, and so as they got older, that started to change a bit, and they got a little bit more access, and that was all discussions. They would come and talk to me, and I think we've got to be open to discussion, but right there, in that instance, in the store, when they're trying it on, using the environment and the situation to try and get what they want, no. The simple answer is no. No discussion, no waffling, just straight to the point, no. As a single parent of 2 toddlers, I was anticipating the tantrum. I knew about it. Of course, we all know about it. We remember when we were children and being around other young siblings or cousins, and just being out in public. Sometimes you see that behaviour. Having started Warrior Kids in 1994 and working with children and their families with self-control and social skills, how to manage tantrums was something that parents would ask me about often. So I got to know, well, let's just say I know a little bit about more than a little bit, I suppose. I know tantrums. My son, when he was little, he wasn't really big on doing tantrums for things that he wanted. His tantrums were more out of frustration if he couldn't do something, if he struggled, like if there was something he was trying to do, like if he was trying to draw something or trying to get some sort of physical movement down in terms of martial arts that we always practiced or something like that, he would get frustrated with himself. He wanted to be better. He wanted to be able to do it. It didn't always work out, which is part of life. It doesn't always go to plan. We don't always get things right. Things are not always perfect. And so my son would get frustrated with himself. In those cases, it was more about reassuring him, hugs and so on, and helping him to learn to stabilize himself and manage those emotions. Regulate, self-regulate, and also building up that resilience. So with my son, that was the case. With my daughter, that was another story. Man, my daughter was tough. She was born tough. She came out, man, I think she came out to battle her dad. I think that's one of her main purposes in life, is to challenge me and to give me a hard time. And she was certainly one to try on the tantrum in the supermarket. Now, the first time to be honest, I was thrilled, even excited to see the behaviour, and I couldn't hide it. I laughed with joy. I did. I cracked up. Now, I wasn't mocking my daughter. I want to get that straight. I wasn't teasing her. Don't do that. We can't do that. Teasing or mocking our children will not allow them to feel secure in themselves, right? We're their parents. We're the leaders for them. It's up to us. If we did that behaviour, they will always feel less. I cannot stress that enough. So, don't mock or tease your kids. Avoid that. I mean, there's times where they're going to do cute things or make mistakes, and it's going to be funny. Fair enough. But I'm talking about teasing or mocking. Very different. You are a parent. Your job is to uplift your kids, to let them know that they are already okay in themselves and that they have the means to achieve and succeed. All right? That's really important. We have to let them know that they are already okay as a being, as an individual, and have the means to learn and to achieve and succeed. I hear a lot about people talking about this language of you are already okay, and there can be a lack of understanding around it because I think they take it to suggest that you don't need to grow or you don't need to learn, that you're already perfect. No. When you're saying you are already okay, it means that you as a person have what it takes to learn, to achieve and succeed. Doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means you're already okay to begin, to learn, to grow. I had a terrible childhood. I did not believe I was okay. That was detrimental to my life. I did not believe that I could achieve anything. I did not believe that I could be a good parent. I did not believe that I could go and move beyond the abuse and violence that I grew up with. Now you can see it's a dangerous way of being. I had to come to a place where I knew in myself that I was already okay as a being. And from there, I was ready to grow. That's very important. I'll have to make a video just on that part. Now, when my daughter lay on the floor in the supermarket, which she did, and started screaming. This is in the first instance when she did. This is where I got excited because I don't know, I was just so thrilled to see it, And I guess I've always loved that fierce spunk in my daughter, that ferociousness, because it reminds me that she will be okay. No one can mess with my daughter. She's tough. She's tough. She will stick up for herself, stick up for others, and she will speak her mind. She's not always agreeable, which is the way it should be. So yeah, here she is. She's laying on the floor. She's screaming. I'm excited to see this. I'm just over the moon. I think this is wonderful. And so I knelt down and I asked her to be louder. I said, come on, man. If you're going to do this, make the most of it, Talia. I was conscious of everybody around. It was a busy supermarket. Everybody was watching. But I'm a parent. I'm the adult. This is my child. I'm in charge. I lead the way. I'm not going to take the pressure, societal pressure, as a cue of how to manage my child. I know what's best for my child, and that's looking after her. I have every interest in stopping the behaviour, but it's how I do it that matters. It's how I do it. So here I am. I kneel down. I said, come on, man, if you're going to do it, make the most of it. Dear, shout louder. I was encouraging her. To be honest, in the end, I was disappointed. Because my daughter was so much into fighting me that she clamped her mouth shut, glared at me, and refused to make another sound. That's my daughter. That's how much she wants to battle me. Now, this is just a little kid in front of me doing this, looking at me with such defiance. I was really disappointed, I'd been hoping for more, Go big, my beautiful daughter. I want to see it. But she refused. Now, she tried it again another time. And in this case, I used a different tactic. I looked at her without emotion. I became an immovable object. An immovable object, unfazed, nonchalant. I didn't really care. I cared about her, but I didn't care about the behaviour. I wasn't angry or upset. Wasn't emotional. I was neutral. It was simply a calm no from me. She went louder. I remained unmoved. By doing so, I took the power out of the behaviour. And in the end, she gave up. It didn't take long. It was very quick. And she never tried it again. And that's very important to note. Now, you can't fake this. Kids are clever. They will see straight through you if you try to fake it. Your state has to be genuine. You will find the unfazed, immovable approach effective in addressing other behaviours in your children as well. I mean, I used it a lot. If they were fighting with one another or arguing. Now, I was a single parent. Let's be clear here. I was a single parent with my two toddlers. It was just me. I was on my own. And that was the case for many years. So I'm not talking from being someone who was only there part of the time. I was there full time. I was full time. So I had my children 7 days and nights a week. And I don't regret it. I love it because it really upped my game and really made me grow as a person and as a parent. Loved it. It was wonderful, wonderful time. And I got to share in that. I feel sorry for my wife because she wasn't able to be there at that time. I love my wife and, she has her story and we both have our story about what happened in terms of our relationship that ended up with me being a single parent. In saying that, we're back together, have been for quite some time, and my kids, interesting enough, they just now don't even remember a time without their mum. That's the way it should be, because she's so important. But anyway, as I was saying, here I was, a single parent, so I really got to know about this behaviour, and I would use this immovable, unfazed state of being with them constantly if they were arguing, bickering with each other. And I used it a lot in Warrior Kids, which a lot of the children who came through Warrior Kids and the parents will remember. If certain behaviours came up in class, certain challenging behaviour towards me or anything like that, I would go quiet. And I would simply just look at the student lovingly, but patiently, waiting, unfazed, unmoved, unemotional, not angry, not upset. Sometimes I would say, "Are you okay?" And that allowed the behaviour to transform and to change. The child felt safe, they weren't in trouble, there was no battle. There was nothing to battle against. I was an immovable object. It's like being that rock, that solid, like a trunk of a tree, just being that solid presence that they would come up against. And once they knew they came up against it, there was no moving it, it allowed them to relax. It allowed my children to relax. Of course, my daughter was annoyed. She didn't get to have sweets. She didn't get to have all those fancy toys and things like that. But she didn't miss out. She was well looked after, and if there was something that she really wanted, she learned to come and talk to me about it. Not in the heat of the moment, not in the aisle, not in the checkout, not in the shop, but that was a discussion that we'd have, and we'd have a good talk about it, and really work out if it was something she really wanted and needed, or certainly not having too much sugar. That's not good for anybody. I encourage you to use it. Encourage you to use this way of being, just this it's stoic in some ways, a stoic way of being, but it's not stoic in the sense that it's not open. This is open. You're actually open, you're engaged, and you're detached though, more. So you're not emotionally engaged, you're mentally and you're presently engaged. As a parent, you are the leader of your family, the authority. And that is a mindset, a way of being. This is not about forcing our way on others or suppressing them. That is going into abuse, as far as I'm concerned. I never had to force my way like that with my kids. I mean, sometimes I had to put my foot down, but that was depending on what was happening and the behaviour and so on. What I'm talking about is about your manner and the way that you conduct yourself, right? Retaining boundaries and doing so lovingly. So, again, step 1, assess the need. Is the tantrum warranted? Is there a need that's not being met that needs to be met? Okay. Step 2, regardless of what was happening with step 1, manage self. This is so important. We always have to do this, is to manage ourselves. It's a daily job, managing ourselves, making sure that we're in a good place, that we're coming from a good place, not getting too caught up or emotional. Step 3, retain control. Remember, we are the parent, we are the adult, we are in charge, and let's do so respectfully and in a detached manner, so that we're not shouting or being abusive or anything like that. That we're actually allowing the children to be, remembering that we are separate from their behaviour. That's very important. We are separate from their behaviour. Don't get caught up in the drama. Don't get wrapped up in it. Stay separate. Keep your dignity. Keep your dignity. So yeah, retain control of the situation. In other words, embrace the tantrum. Enjoy it while it lasts. Because as soon as you start putting this into practice, step 1, assess the needs. Step 2, manage self. Step 3, retain control. As soon as you start putting that in practice, you're not going to see those tantrums anymore.